to infinity and beyond. Lightyear was written and directed by Angus MacLean, who was a co-director for Finding Dory. Also written by Matthew Aldrich, who did Coco, a very, very emotional movie that I probably should go back and review just so I can cry again, because sweet fucking Christ, Coco was really goddamn good. And also written by Jason Headley, who did Onward, that I didn't get a chance to check out. I probably should go backwards to go onwards. Okay, if you think those are the only bad jokes I'm going to say, you have never watched my channel, and if you're watching for the first time, thank you very much. Based on the characters by Joe Ranft, Pete Docter, he has an E in that doctor name, so you know he's very classy. Told you there were going to be more bad jokes. Also, Jason Lasseter, as well as Andrew Stanton. And this focuses on Buzz, voiced by Chris Evans, yes, Captain America himself. After a space mission goes awry, they are stranded and marooned and on a planet that basically is full of hostile creatures, and they do the best they can to make things work, mine the resources, and a year later, they try to do a hyperspace mission where if it succeeds, they can find a way to get home. Unfortunately, Buzz is the only pilot that feels that he can do the job, but as each subsequent hyperspace attempt happens, well, things get really, really weird on the planet, and everything changes, and Buzz doesn't really know what to do. He wants to succeed, he wants to help people out, but he doesn't. Does he complete the mission, or does he lose everything that he loves? So I was really excited to see this movie pretty much from the trailer, the first trailer that dropped. I was like, okay, let's see how a Lightyear origin story goes. Basically, it opens up with a little bit of text where Andy had, he had a Buzz Lightyear toy, Woody toy, all that stuff and everything. He had his own Woody. Boy, yeah, there's a lot of fucking jokes there. Nevertheless, this was the movie that inspired him to get the Buzz Lightyear toy. So this is the character that the toy is based on. That apparently is hard for people to grasp. Some people there are bombarding the IMDb review board with just terrible reviews. Oh, disappointing, not funny, everything too woke, all this stuff and everything. Let's address the wokeness of it. First off, many people are clutching their pearls because they imply that there is a same-sex relationship taking place between two characters. Alicia Hawthorne and a scientist friend. Alicia, by the way, was voiced by Yuza Abuda. I hope I pronounced that Aduba. I apologize for that. I really, really apologize. And that is, it's not, there's very little shown, but so many people were just clutching their pearls. Oh, how could Disney do this? They're so goddamn woke. Disney is not the most morally, focused company. They got a lot of fucking issues, but Disney gets most of these movies pretty much on the goddamn money. Turning Red was really goddamn good, addressing, the changes a young girl goes through to become, to become a young woman and then become a woman and everything. Turning Red, by the way, is on Disney Plus. Absolutely check that out. It is really goddamn good. It also got a lot of fucking negative buzz initially because people were just so upset about the subject matter. Here's the thing. Any of the people that are clutching their pearls and getting all upset because you don't like the idea that your kids might see a same-sex couple, what will my kids say? Well, hopefully they won't be judgmental jackasses like you, and maybe they'll get their nose out of a goddamn storybook like the Bible, and maybe they'll pull their heads out of their asses. Nevertheless, I'm off my goddamn soapbox. Whole point is, same-sex people, as far as same-sex relationships, they fucking existed since back in the Bible days. I know that's a bit shocking to understand, but nevertheless, it's an animated movie. So fucking what? Big fucking deal. Don't go. Disney ain't gonna fucking need your goddamn money because plenty more people, like myself, are gonna go watch something to have a bit of an open mind, also enjoy an animated movie. It's a minor thing that people blew out of proportion, so I just threw it right back in their goddamn faces. So nevertheless, wokeness aside, a lot of people were also calling to task that this was a simple story and everything. Yes, it's a kid's movie, and it's like a kid's interpretation of space travel and sci-fi and battling and everything. This seems like it was designed with a child's mind, but also with some good humor. I am not saying this is Disney and Pixar's best goddamn movie ever. I would say Turning Red was a little bit better than this in my personal opinion, but this feels about as grounded as it can for a movie that travels into space, ironically. Now, Chris Evans was a terrific fucking voice for Buzz, a younger Buzz, a Buzz that takes place in a different universe. Many people were like, oh, Tim Allen, oh, it's because of his politics that he isn't allowed to do this stuff. No, it's not that Disney doesn't want to associate with Tim Allen. Maybe they wanted to go with a different path because Tim Allen is going to be playing Santa Claus in an upcoming Santa Claus series. because they're going to milk that goddamn cow dry. They're going to milk that stocking until it's totally dry and shriveled up and everything. And boy, there's an image. There's a fucking image you need. Man, Mrs. Claus must feel all dried up because Santa only comes once a year. So Keke Palmer voices a character that is introduced a little bit later on, the granddaughter of Alicia Hawthorne. And then there's Socks, the AI cat, voiced by Peter Sohn. At least I assume that's how you pronounce it, S-O-H-N. Easily the show-stealing character of the goddamn movie. If Disney markets those toys, even you don't even have to market them. So like they'll be robotic and say all those voices and everything. You can just make plushes and people will fucking love it. They'll just make the voices because that's what Disney does. They just turn these characters into fucking profit. It's like when they made toys for BB-8 months after they didn't, not realizing that BB-8 in the new Star Wars trilogy was going to be so fucking beloved. And Taika Waititi's in this. I promise you all I react to that last name with the good taste and maturity you've all come to expect. Dale Souls, I assume that's how you pronounce. I apologize if I got that wrong. James Brolin is in this as well. By Christ, I didn't know he was still alive. And from there, we have this, space age movie where Buzz basically has to realize every time he does a space journey, a space attempt, he's only out there for a few minutes. But because he goes into hyperspace, his time basically stands still. Everybody else ages by a number of years. And it's basically a time travel thing, and he has to realize what the hell, whatever he's doing, it could work, but it's going to cost him everything. So basically, it's a fun, sci-fi-ish, good, well-grounded movie with some pretty good characters. Not all the comedy lands, but it's not offensive. It's not like, oh god, that's so groan-inducing. Taika Waititi's character, at first, I wasn't sure how to take, and he's really, or Taika Waititi, I apologize if I got that wrong. He gets to be pretty entertaining. He's kind of the bumbling fool of the whole goddamn thing. And once you get the central focus where basically Buzz has to fight back against the evil Zurg, which, yes, was a reference to the Toy Story universe. And Buzz being the toy. You are a child's plaything. You are a sad, pathetic little man, or a sad, strange little man. You have my pity. He does say some of the lines, there's no sign of intelligent life anywhere, and you're mocking me, aren't you? And some stuff. And Chris Evans does a great, homage to, Tim Allen's Buzz Lightyear without being just a carbon copy. He provides his own voice, pays tribute to the original character, and it's good shit. And also it's set in the universe where this is a movie that Andy saw, and the toy gets created a little bit later. I will say before I get into spoilers, there is a post-credit scene. There is also a mid-credit scene, so unless you have little whiny brat kids that decide to try and ruin the theater experience because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And it's like, I don't hate children, but seriously, I actually kind of do because I don't think you understand how much I loathe children. If you can't keep your kids quiet, maybe don't fucking go anywhere. Keep your little shits quiet, god damn it. Now, off of that goddamn thing, kids should be able to enjoy this goddamn movie, but maybe pick and choose the movies you go to. I'm not a parent, in case you can't tell, but nevertheless, great animation, great style. This sci-fi stuff is really goddamn cool. And, okay, is it, again, Disney and Pixar's best movie? No. But is it really, really good? Yes. It is something that I would absolutely recommend you guys go watch in theaters. I had a great time watching it. Granted, there was only about 20 goddamn people in the theater, nevertheless, because I saw it on Thursday afternoon. But them's the breaks, and that's why, I try to go there and maybe try to avoid children. This also probably will be the only the children's movie that I see for the foreseeable future, because nothing else really fucking appeals to me. That being said, great goddamn movie, really, really enjoyable. Ties into a possible sequel, maybe, we will see. You'll have to find out in the spoiler section, but I will say again, mid-credit, post-credit sequence, just brief scenes, and it's really kind of nice how they do it. Also, just the villains that they have and the way they tie all that stuff together, it's pretty goddamn good. And it kind of reminds me of 1998's Lost in Space, only done better. That's probably a bit of a spoiler. I apologize. Let's get into spoilers, though. Absolutely watch this in theaters. It's 100% good. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, provided that anybody is still watching after that long-winded, somewhat on the soapbox and somewhat, ranty edition where I pretty much lashed out at people. Let's talk about the movie, as opposed to what I was doing for the last 9.5 minutes. This movie is quite good, and Buzz, this mission goes awry when he tries to get, they land the ship to check out this life, and him and Alicia, they are, they end up getting back to the ship with this rookie, and they barely take off because there are these tentacles, these weird tendrils that are holding them down, and they manage to get away, but they bust part of their drive going up this cliff because Buzz doesn't quite clear, missed it by that much. And it damages this crystal that they need to reform. They need to mine all these materials, and then a year later, they're trying to figure out the correct formula for this crystal. The first hyperspace attempt gets to about 70-something%, and then it starts to have issues. He has to basically jettison fuel stuff and find a way to get back through these rings. Like, he's friggin' either Superman 64, sorry for the flashbacks, or, Star Fox, do a barrel roll. Or even Sonic. Sonic 2 is on Paramount Plus, by the way. And when he gets back, he realizes 4 years have passed. 4 years and like a month or something like that. And basically, Alicia was wondering what happened. This kind of stuff. Didn't realize that much time would pass. Socks enters a little bit later, a welcome gift. Basically to help him cope with the fact of all the time that he's lost. Now, he hasn't aged. He's aged maybe a few minutes. He hasn't aged a number of years like people. And Socks, of course, steals the show, like being the deadpan AI program. And then more attempts. Alicia dies. She has a granddaughter that Buzz sees in this video. This other lieutenant general, whatever, comes in. And the space program's being shut down, and he's just going to create this laser shield, which is a running gag that actually ties into the mid-credits sequence. And even though there's all these hostile creatures, they're going to create this laser shield, stop the space program, and stop this aging thing, and they're just going to find a way to hunker down and take care of themselves. That honestly makes sense. The problem is this guy gets a little bit militant, and Buzz ends up stealing a ship. He takes Socks with him. Does this whole thing because Socks figured out this formula. He figured out the crystal formula. It's all shiny and crystally. And they do this, and then they crash back down on the plant, or they land back down on the plant. Number of years have passed by, and it turns out that there's a spaceship with robots in the sky. And Zurg, because they can't say Buzz, so that's the the name given to the big black robot that is his enemy, Zurg. Then he meets he mates Alicia's, I had to write it down, Izzy Hawthorne. I apologize for that, voiced by Keke Palmer. A lot of characters remember here. She has a bit of a resistance with her. There's Darby Steele, not Darby Allin. Non-wrestling fans have no idea who I'm talking about. Voiced by Dolly Souls. And Taika Waititi, who plays Mo Morrison. That's a lot of goddamn Mo's right there. Mo. And they basically are just a few people in an outpost, and they have to find a way to break into this laser-enforced shield area. But first, they have to stop the spaceship. The robot spaceship, and all these robots show up, and then they start to attack, and they have these teleportation devices. They slap on you, and you get teleported up there. And even though they're a ragtag group, and Buzz is pretty much the only one with combat experience, eventually they come together. They figure out a way to reformulate, keep the crystal going, have it formulated properly, and they got to get to a ship. They got to do this stuff. They got to get up there, blow up the ship, and then get back down, and then they can take off, and they can possibly take everybody home. Now, I'm going to skip a few things because there's some good comedy, and then there's some comedy it does miss a little bit. Socks is a freaking great character. And you get attached to these characters, even though they're a little bit, at times, one-dimensional. They get fleshed out a little bit. And there are these giant, bug creatures, these flies. It's like Starship Troopers for kids. No brain bugs. And you get the weird tentacles that, tendrils that come up and everything and try to wrap them down, but they're all slimy and get cut out. And it turns out the Buzz actually has an attachment to Zurg. And it turns out who Zurg is Buzz. 50 years in the future, the Buzz is stuck around, I guess. So the science is a little bit weird about this. He got this alien technology, and his crystal got busted. Now he needs to take his crystal to go back in the past and take care of all this stuff and make it to where they're never marooned. But then Alicia wouldn't meet her to become wife, have her grandchildren, or have her children. the children to have children, so she'd have grandkids. All these people would have their lives wiped out. They'd never be able to meet the people that they met. They'd never be able to grow. Who knows what would happen? Yes, they would be able to not be marooned in space, but what would change? Would it really be worth it? And Buzz has this conflict, and this conflict, and this conflict. And eventually, they end up blowing the ship up. Eventually, where Zurg basically gets blown up, or maybe he's not totally dead. Aha! And it turns out that what happens is they find out that, honestly, this planet is home. This planet should be home. Figure out a way, but don't change the past to just have a better future. Figure out a way to make the future happen from the past, from the current situation that you have. Don't wipe out everybody's lives just to save yourself. It's pretty much what it comes down to. It's really goddamn good. It's really goddamn enjoyable. I actually really had a great time watching this. I don't know if it's going to be on my favorite movies of the year list, but, or at least like way high. It'll be like on the list, but it probably won't be in the top 5. I think Turning Red has a better chance of being in the top 5 than this. But I will definitely say for entertainment, I'm going to say A+. I'm going to say this was absolutely very, very good. It even gets you a little bit emotional because you get attached. You don't want to see the robot cat float away, and it doesn't. Yay! Also, the end credit sequence ties back into something earlier where this robot at the outpost is trying to direct them, but the GPS is screwed up in its brain. Oh, you need to go here, you need to go here, or actually you need to go here. And then we cut back and that robot's still giving directions, not realizing that they left hours ago. And what happens is it turns out that maybe there's other places to explore. So they hint at a possible sequel. But yeah, A+. I'll say A+. I know I'm probably going to get killed for that, but that's okay. These are my opinions. You can let me know your opinions in the comments, please. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin, to infinity and beyond. See you soon.